So as most of you know, I have a spray foam attic, encapsulated attic in my house, and this helps keep my ducts within a semi-conditioned space, and it also helps keep my envelope very, very tight. But the thing about encapsulated spray foam attics is that they need to be dehumidified. And one strategy is just to have supply and return air pumped into these attics. I don't like that strategy. I would rather actively dehumidify it and keep that air separate from the air that I'm breathing inside. So I'm going to show you my little damper configuration. Coming off my dehumidifier supply, I have two control dampers. One that lets it send air back into the supply plenum, another one that sends dry air out into the attic. Same thing on the return side of the dehumidifier. One is connected back to my air handler, and the other one pulls air from my attic. Humid air is buoyant, and so it's going to collect here at the ridge of my encapsulated attic. So where my dehumidifier pulls its return from is from this really long flex duct that is just open and pointed towards the ridge of the attic. Every day at 12 noon, I've got these dampers that change position. So instead of dehumidifying my house, they switch over and they dehumidify my attic instead. That way I am never breathing the air in my attic, which could have some chemicals, some off-gassing, some VOCs, just stuff that I don't want to breathe. In the evening, every day, the dampers close. Why do I choose to do it at noon and then turn it back off in the evening? Because the sun's heat will drive the moisture out of the wood members here when the sun is high. And that allows that moisture to be kind of hanging around here in the attic so that we can pull it out. Also, my air conditioning unit can more than handle the dehumidification capabilities of my house during the peak of the afternoon. That's not really why you have a dehumidifier. But then after the sun goes down in the evening, we switch back to dehumidifying the house. We no longer pull air from up here because we've already dried the space, and now my home once again needs a dehumidifier because the AC is starting to back down. In either scenario, my Haven Induct Air Quality Monitor is going to read that air. So if it's reading the air from my house, it's making decisions based on that. When it reads the air being pulled from my attic, it will also make decisions based on that. Most of the time, it is going to run the dehumidifier because it's going to see a spike in indoor dew point. So let's see what the Haven saw. At 12 noon, it saw a spike in indoor dew point. And that's because my dampers switched from circulating air from my house, which is pretty dry, to my attic that had accumulated some moisture. And so it turned on the dehumidifier. And it started cycling the dehumidifier based on dew point. And it continued to do that for the next few hours until it was time to switch back over to dehumidifying my house once again. The advantages of doing this is that I don't have to buy a second dehumidifier just for my attic, but I still can accomplish the same thing, which is isolating my attic air from the air that I breathe down below. The other thing that I did when I was having this house built was made sure that I air sealed as much as possible my attic from the space below that I live and breathe in. Let me show you how this works in this diagram. There are 4 motorized dampers. The 2 dampers that go back to my HVAC ductwork are normally open, meaning that when there's no power on them, they are open. The other 2 dampers that go to my attic are normally closed, so when there's no power on them, they are closed. Then, using a mechanical time switch with a relay or a Wi-Fi relay or whatever other control that you choose, you're going to send power on all 4 of those dampers for the period that you want to dry the attic. The dampers to your HVAC ductwork that lead back to your house will close, and the dampers that lead to your attic will open. And that's it. If you're on a tight budget and you're a little bit adventurous, you can dehumidify your encapsulated attic as well as your house using one dehumidifier and never share that air.